What is up? This is Rick, the WWE sign guy, the moron with the stupid red hat, the blue shirt, and the idiotic signs. But I'll tell you what, if I could make the biggest sign in the world, it would say AngryMarks.com. Pow!
On the line, Rick, the WWE sign guy. Hey, Rick.
Hey, how y'all doing? All right.
Oh, man, couldn't be better. It's good to have you on, brother.
It's great to be here.
All right, listen, like I told you before we came on the air, my goal for tonight, we've done the interview where we brought you in and had you tell your story, and we talked about Deal or No Deal, and we talked about the blue shirt and the red hat, and we talked about, your signs and your whole thing, and I don't want to bore you with the same old interview tonight. Basically, Rick, the reason we wanted you to come in tonight is because there's a lot of interesting things going on in WWE right now, and you've been to a lot of the shows recently, both on TV and the house shows, and we want to get the perspective of a fan on the ground, what you've been seeing in the arena. So, if that's all right, let's go at it from that angle tonight.
That's fine. I mean, if you're looking for an armchair quarterback, I mean, I like what I see live and on TV. I mean, that's terrible for why isn't he against them? I just like watching. I mean, whether it be live or on TV, I enjoy everything they do, which is weird. I mean, some segments, and some segments are good, but I just dig going to the shows and watching it on TV.
Well, this is AngryMarks.com, and we tend to be highly critical sometimes of what we see on the air. We're going to try to steer away from that a little bit tonight because especially, I got to tell you, I mean, I watched Raw last night, and I thought it was actually a pretty damn good show, to be honest with you. I mean, it had its hits and misses, but for the most part, I thought they were really doing a good job of moving the storylines along. Now, you said something key just now, Rick. You said that you like to watch it on TV. You like to be in the arenas. You're a fan.
Yeah.
A lot of people get caught up in the signs that you do and the clothes that you wear and your presence at these shows. But lost in all of that sometimes, I think, what people don't tend to realize is that you really, truly are a fan of this, aren't you?
I am. I mean, I just love going. It's nice when geez, everybody's been through a lot of stuff. It's we have a terrible day at work or whatever, but we always got Monday, Monday Night Raw. We always got Friday. And we got SmackDown. Boom. I mean, it's just great to watch and then, look forward to going to shows, like I do every once in a while, and it's a blast doing this. So I don't know.
I'm kind of on to you, though, Rick. You talk about SmackDown and you talk about Raw Monday and Friday, and you're absolutely right. Those are the things that we see on TV. But I've heard you say before on Twitter and other places that you actually enjoy the house shows even more than the televised ones.
You're exactly right. I absolutely do. Pay-per-views, televised shows, the house shows is where it's at. I mean, I love it more than anything, where the wrestlers actually come out and interact with the audience. I mean, and really get into it. It's so much fun, and people, I don't know, love to see the explosions and the pyro and all that kind of stuff. I love going to the house shows where they really get in and wrestle, interact with the crowd. I mean, to me, that's something that's awesome. So that's what I love to do.
We're talking to Rick, the WWE sign guy. Rick, are the house shows so much better because there's not that hard time constraint that's sort of dictated by the networks?
I guess I don't know. I mean, the TV shows are good too, and the pay-per-views are good too. But the live events is where they can really stretch out and get on the mic or interact with the crowd and. I can bring some signs and maybe, hopefully, one will, react to it. I love that. If they come over and rip up a sign or something like that, I love it. I mean, I love watching it on TV, and I love going to the shows and getting some kind of interaction. But, it's a lot of fun either way.
I think the first time I ever saw you in a live crowd was in Little Rock. I want to say this was, 2005, because you've been doing this for quite a while. I want to say in 2005. I saw you at a house show in Little Rock, and I think that was the night,
Yeah.
and maybe this happened more than once, but the part I remember about that night is that Batista walked over to you and grabbed your red hat and kind of like made like he was wiping his rear end with it. Um, and that was the first time I'd ever seen you at a live event, and I had the same thought that everybody does when they first see you. This guy's a ringer in the crowd. They planted him there to get the crowd going, and as I've gotten to know you over the years, I get it. That's not the case. It just you're just a fan who pays his money to sit there in the front row, and you've earned the interaction that you get from these guys from the signs that you add. You add to the entertainment value of these shows.
You know what, man? Thank you so much. I bring extra red hats just in case something like that happened. And back in 2005, that would help. I mean, that would happen with Batista and some of the other guys. They would grab a hat and stick it down their trunks. And of course, that hat is not to be worn anymore. Good Lord, I don't think I can even wash it. And I know. So I got a trunk full in Ziploc bags of these hats that have been violated like that. And just last week, Ricardo came over, grabbed the hat, spit in it, and you know what? It's going in the Ziploc bag. It's gross. So I mean, it's crazy. I do get people coming up saying you're a plant. But I'm telling you, man, do in life what makes you happy. What makes me happy is going to shows and, watching these guys perform. What a great show they do. If I have a bad day at work, I come home, watch Raw, watch SmackDown. It's great. I don't know, but just the interaction is awesome to me. And I don't know, if I can get a sign ripped up, it's the hugest compliment ever. So, I try to go as many as I can because it's fun. Life's too short. Why not have fun? So, that's why I keep doing it.
Rick, that is an awesome quote. Do in life what makes you happy, and what makes me happy is going to shows. I like that. A lot of people, I guess when they see your signs getting ripped up, it's natural to assume, oh man, he worked hard on that sign. He's got to be pissed about that. But
I find it an honor. And yeah, it's easier to have a show, like you or anybody else to say, oh, they could have done this better, they could have done this better. But man, I just find it entertaining, whether it's good or bad. It's awesome. And for the last 15 years, I love watching, love going. So I don't know, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, I'm going to borrow a quote from the game of golf, and that is, it's kind of like a bad day at the arena is better than a good day at work kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I can see that. I wish I had the time and frankly the resources to go to as many shows as you do. And the funny thing is I keep missing these shows. It's like they did SmackDown in Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago, which is like 45 minutes from my house here in New Jersey. And I was in Little Rock at the time with my family. And then I came back here, and then next thing you know, they were down in Texas and Oklahoma. And I'm like, damn it, I keep missing these shows.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. With my job right now, it's really tough to get out, and I'm trying to get time off to go to some more shows, but it's rough.
Now you come from the Texas area, I think, and they were recently down that way and did a bunch of shows in the Dallas area, and I think they went up through Wichita Falls to Oklahoma City, and if I'm correct, you made a lot of those shows, didn't you?
I missed a couple of those shows, but I made sure I got to Raw for JR Appreciation Night, and then Tulsa for SmackDown. So I had a couple signs to root JR on. So yeah, I missed the Texas shows.
I'm glad you brought up JR. Is there anybody in the company more deserving of an appreciation night than that guy? He's been at this for. I used to watch him in Mid-South Wrestling when I was like 9. This guy has really poured his heart and soul into this business for decades, and I just
no kidding. You look at the tapes back in the day, as well as today. Look at that, probably the best announcer. And I also love Vince on the mic too, back in the day. Now, calling a match and this and that, but JR probably is the best, and him and his wife Jan, just unbelievable people, class acts, and there's nobody better that could have an appreciation night than them.
Yeah, no kidding. And I know some fans get a little wary of these appreciation nights, like they did a Rock his birthday last year, and then this year they did the JR appreciation night, and all these things. Some people get a little burned out on that, but to me, as a lifelong fan, I think it's very fitting that you use TV time to really commemorate the people that helped make this business what it is today. Am I off base with that?
No, I was assuming that JR was going to get clubbed that night, just beaten the hell up. But no. It was all appreciation after, I guess, the cameras went off. Same with Shawn Michaels. I mean, in San Antonio, I was there, and that was unbelievable with The Undertaker coming out, and, oh, man. So it was cool.
And that's part of what I wanted to get to with you tonight is what we see on TV isn't necessarily what actually happens like off camera or in the arena itself, because and especially with like SmackDown, there's this discussion back and forth about whether they pipe in crowd noise and all this other stuff because it's a pre-taped show. But talk to me a little bit for a moment about that JR Appreciation Night, because what we saw was CM Punk came out and interrupted him, and it didn't really get off the ground on TV. Apparently, it happened off camera after the show. Talk to me a little bit about what you saw there that night.
You know what? This is going to be terrible because I don't remember what happened last week or what happened this week, but I do remember they brought out some legends for JR, and Vince came out and Triple H came out, but in regards to what really happened that night, I mean, I think they do show it on WWE.com or the new app. So in regards to Punk coming out, that was during the show, wasn't it?
Yeah, he came out during the show and interrupted him,
yeah.
And you will tell me that I'm the best in the world and all this other nonsense. And
Yeah.
Don't think I'm going to do that.
No, yeah. He came out during there. That's right, but nothing happened afterwards.
Okay.
I mean, it was all appreciation, and JR really got choked up. No, it was a nice night. Like they brought the staff out and the rest of the roster, and they, thank you, JR. It was a cool night.
That's awesome. And, he's in the Hall of Fame now, and you think what more fitting tribute. But the fact is the guy still punches in his time card every day and goes to work. The Hall of Fame wasn't his goal, and it wasn't even the end-all, be-all of his career. He's like, yeah, thanks for the Hall of Fame. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have work to do. I mean, this guy is still pouring his heart and soul into this business to this day.
Yeah, you got that right, man. The guy's a class act and knows how to call a match, please. He's a blueprint of what to do, when to announce. And, I've had signs that said, had a picture of Michael Cole on there, how not to announce, and a picture of JR, how to announce, things like that. But I love Cole too. But, JR to me is probably the best in the business.
Well, I think, and I want Sierra to jump in here too if she has any questions or comments. But Rick, one of my favorite things about JR throughout his whole career is, for the most part, he's managed to stay out of the whole idea of being a character in the show. I mean, he's been involved in some storylines, particularly with Steve Austin and different things. But for the most part, they've allowed him to just be an objective observer, calling the match as he sees it, and he brings a historical perspective to it because he's been at this for decades, like I said. But with Michael Cole, there was this thing about 2 or 3 years ago where they decided that he needed to be a central focal character in the storytelling and in the show itself. And man, I got sour on that after a while. Yeah.
I kind of wish they would have a couple people just to call the match the way it is. I mean, if they want one of the announcers, one of the guys calling the matches to be, for the heels, great, whatever, but to be involved, as a viewer, I just want to watch the match. And, I kind of but I did kind of like it, just like Monday, where JBL was, for all the heels, and Cole being, I don't know, it's just me, but I do like the comments coming from JR and JBL and Cole and stuff like that. It really adds spice to the show, I think. Where you have, someone for, the faces and someone else for the heels. I don't know.
Well, I like Cole a lot better lately, where he's gone back to he's quit being just this over the top, almost cartoonish heel announcer. He's
Right.
quit with all of that, and I think it really. I mean, it started a little before this, but it really they really just stopped that cold after Jerry Lawler had his heart attack, and Cole had to pour his heart out on the air about how he felt about that. And from that point forward, we've seen a very different Michael Cole. Now he's back to being more of an objective announcer, more calling it the way it is instead of
down
trying
the middle.
to shape, instead of trying to shape in a heel fashion what we're watching on TV. And frankly, you don't need to do that when JBL's out there, because that's his whole career.
Yeah, it's great when he's on the mic. I remember back in the day when he was an established announcer and I was sitting behind him, and I was like, "Hey, JBL, I know I yell at you a lot, boo, boo, but I think you're great." And he was like, turn around and just give me a sneer. I mean, he's awesome. I mean, I love booing him as a heel, and I had a sign that had his face on it that says "I love Obama," and he came over and grabbed it and he said, "Beat it up with a hammer." I mean, he's awesome. He's great.
Yeah, I don't see JBL voting for Obama, just saying. Yeah, JBL's a great guy. I keep waiting for them to put him in the Hall of Fame, and now he's out there climbing mountains and raising money for kids, and the guy really is.
I'm sure that you have to. You have to. I mean, his character was great with the acolytes, and
Sure.
Yeah, he's got to go.
And by the way, him and Ron Simmons together are just freaking gold. I mean, I don't know what it is, but those are two guys that I think the heavens just brought those two together, to be honest with you.
Yep. Absolutely.
But yeah, JBL's incredible. He's a class guy off the stick and off the camera, but man, when he's on camera, he has got a character that it's for the ages. It really is. And they were even teasing him a little last night about Alberto Del Rio and his sort of gimmick infringement with coming out in the car, that whole thing. And they were
right.
I think Michael Cole said something on TV last night about, well, hey, he may be doing what you did, but at least he's doing it better because he's in and then he dropped the information on the car itself. And it just works for me.
Well, he said, I didn't have to drive my car or something like that.
Yeah, JBL's just he's got a line. In fact, I got to tell you, when he was a commentator on SmackDown, my favorite line of his ever was he had criticized somebody's moveset, and then he goes, "Well, but of course this is coming from a guy that won a world title with a clothesline." So he's not even afraid to sort of self-deprecate once in a while too. But Right quick, Rick, because I know you've got limited time. Talk to me about John Cena for a minute. It's hard to tell really what the crowd reaction to him is watching it on television. What do you see live when this guy comes out?
I'll tell you, man, it's what you see on TV. I mean, it's cheers, it's boos. Doesn't matter what city you're in, boom. It's the same thing. You get cheers and boos. To me, and I've always said this, I love John Cena. I mean, I think it's, what Hulk Hogan was back in the day, where Hogan would come out and, people would cheer, some people would boo. Same thing with Cena. I think he's great. I don't know. And people are like, kids and girls only cheer Cena. No, man, look at him. The guy can wrestle. He's great on the mic. He is the Hulk Hogan of today. So I just don't understand people booing him all the time.
Well, and by the way, we're talking to Rick, the WWE sign guy. Rick, that's the question I wanted to ask you is, from your perspective, are these people really hating John Cena, or are they just loving to hate him? In other words, has it become fashionable to boo him? Is there really
Yes.
the undercurrent of respect there among the folks that are booing him, or do they really, like X-Pac, hate this guy?
Yeah, I think that's the deal. It's fashionable to boo him. So I mean, even I think even the WWE is aware of that, making the John Cena sucks shirts or whatever they came out with. No, I think he's a great person to cheer. I think CM Punk is a great person to boo, and who knows? Maybe at some point the roles will be reversed. Who knows?
Yeah,
Well,
because,
go ahead, Sierra.
with the whole Cena thing, Frank and I had a discussion like a few months back about the whole Cena thing with the hatred for him from all the fans. And I was wondering, do you actually think most of this hatred comes from the internet influencing fans to turn towards Cena? Or is it just that people just see everyone else doing it and I'm going to do it too?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. Everyone else is doing it, so I'm going to do it too. I think it is fashionable. I think Cena is a good wrestler. He's great on the mic. I mean, he's a guy that needs to be the front runner. Punk is too. I mean, so people booing him and stuff like that. I really don't get it. I mean, but hey, you can boo who you want. You can cheer who you want. I don't care. But like when I go to shows, I'm going to boo the heel. And I'll tell you why, because you get a reaction out of them. You really do. I tried to do the opposite back in the day. Would get nothing out of the faces. Boo, boo, eh. But the heels, they'd come over. They'd rip up your signs. They'd chew you out. That's what I'd love to do. But I don't know.
What I've noticed about Cena, and I even saw this last night on Raw, and I'm assuming you watched last night. Cena came out to open the show, and when he first walked out there, I mean, he was absolutely getting pissed all over by the crowd. Booed left and right. The boos were definitely outweighing the cheers. But by the end of that promo that he cut last night, and by the way, he's the only guy that I've seen in the last, 3 years that can cut an opening segment promo in under 5 minutes and still get the reaction he wants. Lately, these opening segments seem to just drag on sometimes. And listen, I get it. We've got 3 hours to fill on Monday night now. You kind of have to stretch things out a bit to fill the time. But Cena came out there in about 4 or 5 minutes last night, went from being absolutely crapped all over by the crowd to actually having them eating out of the palm of his hand by the time it was over. I've noticed that he has developed a talent for turning a crowd on a dime mid-promo.
Yep. That's a show of talent. I mean, you look at all the greats that could make you. They come out in the crowd. Eddie Guerrero could do that. I mean, Jericho could do that. Guys that could make you cheer or make you boo. You have that talent. Ric Flair. I mean, Cena has that gift too. I mean, you got to feel what the crowd is reacting to and go whatever direction. I mean, that's just smart.
Well, the greats have all realized that those crowds are living, breathing things, and they have to be worked. I mean, they just have to. You have to take, like what you just said, you have to take what they're giving you and shape it. You have to work it. And there are only a handful of guys ever who have been able to do that. I look at guys like Jack Swagger, and Swagger's got all the wrestling ability in the world, but the guy doesn't know how to work a crowd at all, and that's why he's not even on TV anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. You go to a couple house shows, Swagger's pretty good, man.
So they're putting him out there at the house shows, are they?
I haven't seen Swagger in a while, but I have to go. I apologize.
Not a problem.
Good time being with y'all, but man, I have to go.
That's cool, Rick. Hey, thanks for the time you gave us, man. We really appreciate your insight on what you've seen lately. Sure. And everybody, Rick, the WWE sign guy, man, thanks, and come back anytime.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.